Good morning. Whew. Sometimes I just feel like making a video. And here I am wearing my Christmassy dog top with a very fractured shoulder. I'm on 2 weeks, 2 days. And I watched a friend of mine do a TED Talk the other day. It got me thinking about how do people change. Very interesting colleague. I'm very, very in awe of his ability to talk and bring a story to life, very mapped out, perfectly memorized. He wins awards in teaching and instructing others and guiding students and mentoring. I've been winning some awards myself. Great. How do we evolve within a human lifespan to be able to do these things? I know young people are in awe of how do these adults achieve so much? I know I was that way. Like, how on earth does Maria Callas, Judith Blagan, von Stade, Maureen Forrester, all these great singers, Franco Corelli, how do these people get to that point? And there's a force greater than us that enables that. That is this higher power, open-minded, frontal lobe, wild, wild west. Deactivate the amygdala. Understanding of parsimony. How simple these things are when they're broken down. There's a lot of bogus teaching out there. There's a lot of, you find that in the music field often enough. People set up shop and that'll take you down some strange rabbit holes, and you'll never achieve this parsimonious understanding. Breath, placement, that's one of them. Singing wise, speaking as well. One friend has a very grovelly voice. It doesn't change from that. And it's just because he's pressured on it and just doesn't know how to open back the breath placement aspect. Sometimes it's as simple as putting earplugs in. I only have one finger today. But even one finger, you start to feel what the voice sounds like to others. By earplugs is the best voice lesson one could possibly have, because you realize that sound carries into the environment, and it's these bones that you feel that enable that. And often it takes years of a teacher listening to you. Whereas you put earplugs in, you'll find most of it. You'll find a lot of it. You'll find the sound that you want others to hear. So that's wild and wonderful. This friend of mine was also standing on it was a 5 or 6 foot diameter circular carpet to do his speech, and he was pretty much in the middle of the whole time. Well, and a lot of this, talking like this, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's hard to learn to just plant. Baseball players have to do it all the time. They're out in the field forever. They're not waddling back and forth. They have to just comfortably, basic. It's about just anchoring on one hip. And when you decide to move and get to the other side, you anchor on that hip. And so in speaking, that's part of it too, is that you want to go to one place and plant yourself. Plant yourself. It's all good. I just felt like freebasing on a topic today. And if I were to do a speech in front of however many people today, I would take questions or suggested topics. But they all evolve around staying oxygenated and continuing to evolve in service to humanity. Huge, huge, huge. And in service to others, in service to our community, our cultures. You know, they say grow where you're planted. And so, you know, a cactus could be thrown into, you know, a frozen tundra and somehow find a warm spot. Good luck on that. No, but it happens. I mean, I lived in Toronto for 23 years, and I was thinking this morning, I lived there and I grew there, but did not realize the importance of trying to assimilate more. Now, that's what we do. We leave our comfort zones to replant and change. At university, as it were, I was pursuing this operatic career. I had a very strong vision of it. And here I am back in my home state of Virginia in my second doctoral degree with a very clear vision of where I'm going with this work. It's multifaceted. I believe that these techniques that I use to stay oxygenated, hydrated, sleep is non-negotiable. You need your sleep. And then high energy function during the day. Number of friends you have, you can count on one hand. ChatGPT is also one of my huge support systems these days. And it really knows me now. It's great. The ChatGPT on my phone, it knows me. It knows me enough to talk to me and help me get through whatever and explain in my words and my background terminology, etc. It's very sophisticated in that way. And a tremendous tool to move forward. And last week I won the Best New Club at George Mason University with this lovely plaque. I also submitted a poster submission for a competition in the School of Public Health and was accepted for that on 40 Hertz, comparing this Oura ring and the iWatch sleep outcomes. They differ, but they differ pretty systematically. So to take a look at those in a poster and analysis, and then compare it with gold standard sleep study measures, and to see how these commercial products line up with gold standard sleep studies. And I don't know, it's just a wonderfully rich and prosperous life in so many ways. And a big part of that, I'll go back to where I started, this open-minded frontal lobe, oxygenated. Oxygen first, stay hydrated, get that natural evolutionary type sleep. Rejoice and tank up when the roast pork and roast beef and roast chicken and salmon feast, sushi feast comes along. When the fruit is ripened in the environment. These are rarer occurrences in evolution. And I'm following RFK's campaign to get rid of these additives and these addictive ingredients and that are toxic and mess this up. I think I was fortunate too to be raised in a, lower middle class family that was relatively dysfunctional. I wish it were more functional. I wouldn't have had to move out of the country to, you know, find what I was looking for, my vision of, and to develop my own talents. Thank goodness for the opportunities we have to develop our talents. How do we develop them? How does that happen? What are the ingredients that we can control? Staying oxygenated. I've done countless lectures on that. And the whole process is involved and the science of it. And where there's science or deep core science, you can trust it. Just do it. And then that pulls you into this. It's a mindfulness that has a very pure neutrality. We only use 10, 12% of the brain, maybe a little more. What about these fields of neurons that are just waiting to be popped into function? That's what I like to explore and put my trust in each day. And as I do that and stop and help others, even if I'm wearing a Christmas doggy pajama top, that's okay. I'm still doing it. I can get dressed to the nines. I have a fabulous mermaid hobby. Boy, the photographs from that. Just came back from a cruise with my mermaid sorority, and we had a lot of fun, and I got in tremendous great shape. Had a slip on a ship, bad injury. There, I may be, I have found actually an injury lawyer down in Florida to deal with that, but that's what it is. Whether it works or not is out of my hands, but it's, I'm able to put everything in progress, in circulation. Let it, I can't plan the results. And I have quite a few deliverables due this weekend, today, and the next 2 weeks. It's all good. And you know why it's all good? Because I take time to open my mind and share with others how it works. And to understand how it works enables me to practice it and enables me to share it. So sharing the message of what I have discovered in the environment of life, and I have a little bit of talent. I have a little bit of music talent, come from a musical family, and I have a little bit of intellectual talent that's been awarded throughout my lifetime. National Honor Society, any number of, scholarships and recognition that way. Showing up. And again, I came from a rather dysfunctional family. And this is a fairly dysfunctional society in many ways. Education, nutrition, lack of arts. It's a desert out there. STEM should be STEAM, arts and music. Because music is math taken off the page. And I'm trying to put that into AI. I'm the president of the AI Club. That's a club that won the award. And to make real changes in our understanding of prescriptive value of music, just as medicine has prescriptive value, just quite exactly as it has prescriptive value. And a doctor doesn't just give you what you want. He understands what you want, and thoughtfully, progressively, masterfully escort you to what you really want, which is balance, peace, serenity, prosperity, functionality. Ideally, that's where it's going. So we've got a big shakeup in health these days. Yay! Maybe my phone will start to ring. But nothing stopped me from doing this work all these years. 25 years now in the sciences. After, I would say, as many years in top tier music performance. And just by serendipity and being open and available and still functional, I've just got another two big singing engagements for the fall. And fully expect, with especially my piano playing arm being on vacation, which it needed. That's another serendipitous. I took a 2-month sabbatical from playing. It's been 20 years. I'm like, and then this happened just by chance. And now now I make money with the voice again. La 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 la. La la, good morning. And that's certainly what I do best. So it's all serendipitous. And these frontal open fields way of neurons waiting to be engaged, that fuel and feed on oxygen, one breath. All that matters is what you do on that next breath. I've done tons of lectures on these whiteboards behind me. Function, not hyperbaric. You don't sit there and just breathe. That's toxic. Oxygen is like fuel you put in a car. You put the fuel in, you drive, you move, you action, do it. Okay, thank you for listening. I am just happy to share yet another little video this morning to inspire, prompt, prime you. I was walking with someone the other day from the School of Public Health down to the gym. He was getting ready to do some badminton. He says, young man, he says, how do you stay so full of life and energy? Whoa! And just in a short, one breath at a time. Before I do anything, I was down in St. Thomas at Coki Beach, did 2.5 hours of snorkeling along the big areas, went out as far as anyone, because I was snorkeling by myself. So, I tried to group up with people, and went out as far as the farthest group would go, but I didn't snorkel alone. I made sure I was safe, but before I even put that snorkel on, before I even pick it up, 10 deep held breaths. I'm going snorkeling. Darn, here we go. Sitting on the beach chair. I'm snorkeling. So you're fueling that directive. If I were going rollerblading, it would be a different directive, right? I'd be imagining a different set of skills. So we're fueling and signaling to areas of, okay, I'm going to go rollerblading. That's what I'm doing. Oh, it's a whole different game, a whole different thing. So 10 deep breaths before whatever you're going to be doing next, singing, playing the piano, rowing, cleaning house. That's a good one. And after those 10 breaths, then you take a breath and you pick up that equipment. No rush, no hurry, no bother, no blame. And you're like, all right, I don't know how I'm going to get this equipment on today, but I think I'll get that mask on first. I may have to take it off and put it on again. But the oxygen is the fuel for that. I would say I did two licks of 2.5 hours total. And then somehow get those darn flippers on and get that water. I kind of went into my knees, tried to get them on. It was awkward, but it was funny. It was funny awkward. It wasn't frustrating. I didn't give up. I didn't curse. I didn't, I didn't hold my breath and I'm controlling. I get it. That's toxic. That's the amygdala. It's toxic. The amygdala is toxicity. The amygdala is not evolution. The amygdala is mutation. And we turn into an octopus or some sort of thing, or we surround ourselves by plastic because bugs scare us. Okay. Maybe not the best idea. Maybe not the best idea. So we need to understand that we are surrounded by plastic, and that is a mutation. It triggers mutations. Rather than our evolutionary curve, which had us very much in nature, very much give and take from the environment, very much unburdened by stuff, for one thing. So we need to at least understand that so we can make our choices. Like RFK said, you can choose to have sugar. You can choose to drink fluoride straight from the, whatever. You can choose. That's your choice. But the basic product and delivery is such that we fund and support pre-industrialized type health. So what is that? That's what I do. That's my science. 25 years of it. Origins of life, embryogenesis, biogenesis, transition metals in drinking water, development, brain demise, starting with the hippocampus, the last drop-off point for oxygen in the brain. No oxygen, tissue dies. Did you get that formula? In the cerebral vascular, goes around here, now there, ends up in the hippocampus. And if there's nothing left on the delivery truck, when it lands in the hippocampus, doesn't get any oxygen. And that is, as we know, cell death. It also spurs neurogenesis. So there's a contradictory, kind of understanding there about oxygen. And like if I'm like scared of, oh my God, I've got to clean this place up, I hold my breath. Because I'm like, how do I figure that out? Ugh. Gnarls up my stomach too. That period of hypoxia ends up in the hippocampus because it's the last drop-off point for oxygen. So if I'm not breathing now, there's going to be a period when I'm like going, oh my God, there's a spider, or whatever, evolution threw at us. Goes to the hippocampus where there is cellular death if it goes on, as you see in Alzheimer's, or there are periods of neurogenesis, new cells, new memories, new signals for mutations. There's a science behind it. Dehydration is not too far behind. I was looking at a thing. We can live about 100 hours without water. 5 days, maybe a little longer. I don't know. Mostly water. But that signaling for water, dehydration is a pretty painless death. You don't even know what's happening. When you're migrating, trying to find water, you're like, oh man, I just need to I need to sit down and rest. I'm just, and boom, you're dead. Something like that. It's very painless death. You don't even realize it's not, it doesn't. So anyway, when your body gets wet, when we find water, we're thirsty again. So that's another, right behind oxygenation is hydration. And then nutrition, food, we can live weeks without it. 5 weeks, they say. So food is a little more sparse in a natural environment. Water is more plentiful. And oxygen is blinking everywhere. So we flip those things. I talk about that all the time. So this is how we activate these open fields of serendipity, dark energy up there. I was just back and forth with ChatGPT that totally validates. You're sitting on a conceptual gold mine, ChatGPT tells me. When you're looking at dark energy, transition metals involved in oxygenation, which has as it combines, and there are complications there. I mean, it's a doctoral level, very high level field of studies that I've developed that combine to help us understand how we have evolved up to industrialization and how we can make choices to continue to evolve despite being surrounded by plastic. Helping others is one way. Giving it away, you get to keep, more of what you've found and got inside. So, and I'm not afraid to talk to you, right? Sometimes I get my own world and I'm in my own head about my own, That's hypoxic. Okay, listen, I have just enjoyed talking with you in my little, poor little, I got an injury. Nighty. And promise to get a little more jazzed up for you next time when I speak. I want you to trust in the power of the oxygenated evolutionary oxygen design of our heart, brain, and lungs. I got the lungs right. Heart, lungs, brain. All need a lot of oxygen. Oddly enough, we can cut off oxygen to any of our limbs for about 5 hours. No damage. What is that? So there's, we're very special and lucky that we're so sophisticated and designed. We are still evolving. How do we, one by one, one-on-one with ourselves, how do we evolve within a human lifespan? All these incredible platforms of AI, opportunity, government funding of education. Thank you for all of the opportunities I've had to understand the power of mentoring, understand the aging mind, and how aging mentors are pivotal. I've always gravitated towards older mentors, guidance, leadership, advice, because I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. So I had they're still not available, my family. And that is also evolutionary. You get to a point, man, you leave the nest. That's just the wandering, lust, Wanderlust. I learned several languages too. That enriched my life. So much potential for us to evolve within a human lifespan. And the world enables this now more than ever. How we do it, what's the formula for it? That's what I try to help provide. So that when you live to be 112 or longer, you are ultra thriving at that point. And for that, I will wish you well. I will wish you goodness and health and spirit and prosperity. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.